Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got a big show lined up, a special guest here. But first, let's take a look at our weather, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. Looking at a high today of 89 and a low of 78, and water temperature 79. So everything's in order right there. Take a look at our river readings brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. They went up pretty fast with all this rain. Now the Apalachicola at Bluntstown is like a 10.6 and it's still peaking out. The Choctaw Carabel right at 7 foot. And may start dropping a little bit, maybe tonight or especially tomorrow. Have a little bit of drop on that. So we'll see how much more rain we'll get. We've had a little rainy spell, and it shot up really fast. Take a look at our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good strong tide today, all through the weekend. Highs this morning at 6:18. We're almost at it, and low will be tonight at 5:40 p.m. So excellent tides today for fishing, coming in and going out. Just what you want to see. Our wind direction will be coming out of west, southwest at about 11. That's been pretty prevalent for the last 2 weeks. Just coming out west, southwest. They're really, really strong about 11, 10, 11. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back and welcome to our guest, Travis Bassford, officer with the Fish and Wildlife Commission. Always glad to have you, Travis.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
We have so much to talk about. We talk about before the show, we'll talk about during the break, and after the show we'll keep talking. But we've got to get all kinds of stuff going on, and we'll try to cover as much as we can. So what's been going on, buddy?
Oh, we just been super busy, like we were talking on the break. Super busy on the water this time of year, and we just had some of our officers go over for the Blue Angels Air Show over Pensacola.
That must be a really big deal. I've never been.
It is. It's huge, and you have people from all over come watch the Blue Angels, but because it's around Pensacola Beach, where they're from, it's a huge show, and then you've got a lot of people come over from Alabama, you have people come over from this way, and then you have the local crowd there, Escambia, Santa Rosa County, and it's a really big event. We want to have a big law enforcement presence, and just to let you know how busy, just in that those 2 days, they have the show on Saturday, but Friday and Saturday they have like 14 BUI arrests.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because there's a lot of alcohol. People like to drink when they get out on the water. Thankfully, we didn't have any really bad boating accidents. But those are two things we're always looking at. We're always trying to do a heightened BUI enforcement effort, and then try to reduce the number of boating accidents, because so many people in a small area, and you mix alcohol with that, and it's usually not a good thing. So. Yeah, but the show's awesome. I mean, I've been over there to see it myself working, and man, they come right over the water there. It's pretty cool.
Good for y'all. Glad y'all were over there and took care of those guys and girls. So,
yes, sir.
So what's going on here with everything else?
Well, back home, the big news really is CWD, chronic wasting disease. We had that public meeting up in Holmes County back on the 6th. Had a big turnout. We were expecting a lot less, but whitetail deer and deer hunting is a big thing up here in the Panhandle.
That's a good. I'd give you an indication how many people are interested when wall to wall people.
Yeah, and it was, and they're concerned about it just like we are, and we had a lot of staff there that was able to communicate basically the comprehensive response plan that FWC and Department of Ag and our other partners had put together to try to combat the spread of CWD. And I know last month, you've had Steve Shea and Stan Kirkland, some other people on here talking about it. We had that 4.5-year-old female test positive in Holmes County, and everyone keeps hearing that. That's a statewide thing, Holmes County, Holmes County, Holmes County. But back in June, we had our executive director, he did an executive order that was signed by him, basically setting up a zone. And I'm going to read some of this stuff verbatim to make sure that I don't fumble the words or whatever, but the CWD management zone includes portions of Holmes, Jackson, and Washington counties north of Interstate 10. We're using major highways to kind of box it in the state line, but north of Interstate 10, east of State Road 81, and west of US Highway 231, and then that extends north to the Florida-Alabama border. And in that zone, we're going to have heightened surveillance and regulations. And we want to help protect white-tailed deer population, obviously, by reducing the potential spread of CWD within the zone to other parts of the state.
Okay.
Some of the things inside that zone, and I know if anyone went to the public meeting up in Holmes, that they probably heard of this, but we talked about importation and exportation over the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we had those rules in place was to reduce the spread of CWD. And it was big news when it used to be from any other state except Alabama and Georgia, we had an exemption because so many people from the Panhandle hunt in Alabama and Georgia. And then over the last couple of years, we implemented, hey, even Alabama and Georgia had to be deboned meat, finished taxidermy products, or things like that. You can't bring the whole deer back into the state. And if we need to go to a break, we can.
We got about another 2 minutes.
Okay, good.
You're doing good.
But basically, they're going to set that up in that management zone, not the importation, but the exportation. So if you kill a deer in that zone that we just described, and I'll get with Jeff, maybe we can put the map up there, or you can go to myfwc.com and click on CWD. But if you kill one in that zone, you can't export that whole animal out.
Right.
So you can't kill your deer and then say, hey, I've got a processor down in Panama City I want to take him to. You can't lay him in the back of the truck and bring the whole deer.
That was one of the
down.
questions I got after one of the shows. It needs to be processed in that area.
Correct.
So, and then this person asked me, is there a list of processors? So we may work on that, let you know some of the processors in that zone.
Sure. Yeah, and as we get closer to hunting season, I'm sure we'll release some more of that info. But it's kind of the same thing. We didn't want stuff in. Now we don't want stuff out of that zone.
Right.
Unless it is those things we talked about, debone meat, finished taxidermy products, stuff like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, but that zone's going to be here for a while, and I know as we get closer to hunting season, we'll have more information on that.
Okay. All right, we're at a good breaking point. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with Travis. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here talking with Travis about this important stuff here. So we want to make sure, here's a map. We showed it before. We want to show it again on the CWD. And this is, you can't take anything out of here, basically. That's Jackson, Washington, and Holmes. Part of Jackson, Washington.
Yeah, pretty big section of Holmes there, and then northern Washington, and basically western Jackson there, west of 231. But yeah, so they don't want anything exported out of the zone for obvious reasons, just like before CWD found its way to our state. We didn't want anything brought in, and those rules still apply as well. And I'm just going to read that list real quick. So basically, the stuff that can be taken out of that zone: boned out meat, clean hides with no head attached, antlers with a clean skull plate with no tissue attached, or clean skulls with no tissue attached, finished taxidermy products, and clean teeth with no tissues attached. So that's what they're worried about, is the tissue. It. And again, I'm sure as we get closer to hunting season, there'll be some processors that are in there, as well as some taxidermists, that we can get that information out. I don't have a list of that right now, but another thing that was a big topic of discussion is going to be, and I know if you've hunted and followed CWD management practices around the country, is they're going to prohibit a lot of the baiting. And a lot of people like to put corn out for deer, but I'm going to read this verbatim too to make sure we get it correct. But the placement of grain, salt products, minerals, and other products meant to be consumed by any species in the family of deer is prohibited year-round within the CWD management zone, except, and there are a couple exceptions, if the products are placed in a manner that excludes access by deer, and then also products that are used solely for normal ag purposes, forest management, or wildlife food plot production practices. So it doesn't mean you can't plant a food plot.
Okay.
It just talks about putting your pellets, your corn, your soybeans, other attractants that people normally use for deer in that zone. They don't want that because deer congregating in an area and feeding from like a trough feeder or something like that, even if the corn is close together, it could spread the disease. Is why they don't want that to happen. And then there also is an exemption for feral hog management, but that is where, like, if you have a hog trap, the food or the corn or whatever would have to be placed inside the trap. Okay. So those are your only exemptions. Again, you can go online and look at that. This is something that is not just during hunting season. They're implementing this year round. And again, the goal is to prevent the spread. And we've got a lot of sampling that's going to be going on in that zone to kind of assess, hey, this is where it is, and is it spreading? And then we'll take management practices from there. But it's a big effort. It's a big coordinated effort with a lot of agencies, and you know, there was a plan in place if this happened, and now we're implementing the plan. So.
And we got some good questions over the last couple of weeks. One of them, Shannon Newsom sent me an email. She had some good questions, which this should answer all of them. But if you have any questions, touch base with myself or Travis, and we'll find the answer for you. But it's pretty well spelled out now. It's sort of fallen into place as exactly what to be expected this coming hunting season, as what we can do, what we cannot do.
Exactly. And then one more thing on CWD, just want to urge everyone, and I'll get with Jeff and we can put this number up here again. I know we've put it before, but anyone who sees if you see a sick deer, abnormally thin, if it's displaying some kind of odd behavior, give us a call, 866-CWD-WATCH, and report the animal's location. We'll send an officer out or a biologist to go assess that animal and see if it might need to be sampled or whatever, depending on how sick the animal is. But if you see something like that, please let us know, especially if it's in the zone, but even outside the zone. If you see that, please let us know so we can get out there and take a look at it.
Okay. All right.
And then, I mean, that's going to be a big thing for a long time, and as we get closer to hunting season, I know we'll dive into it more. Other than that, we've had red snapper season going on.
Been good, hasn't it?
It's been really good. I've been checking a lot of boats, and I'm going to tell you, over 4th of July weekend, we moved a lot of fish. Most people follow the rules. We had some people that took too many over the bag limit. We had some undersized, and then I heard some people get some fish closed season, because right now we know triggerfish, greater amberjack, gag grouper still remains closed. The two big ones that are open are red grouper and red snapper. So been seeing a lot of really mature, healthy fish, though, come in. And people, you know, that first week and a half of the season was so rough, but then we had some seas calm down, and really people taking advantage of it. So that's good.
Well, I've seen some great pictures. It's been a really good year on snapper.
It has. And one pretty cool thing that I was going to share, and I think we talked about this before, but they actually lived for a pretty long time. They said, I think one of the oldest ones they found, 57-year-old snapper. That's an old fish.
You wonder how many hooks he's looked at.
He's probably had to beat a few if they make it that far. And, you know, a regular, I won't say a regular, but what I've been seeing normally come in, these nice fish, 24 to 30 inches. Sometimes you see them over that. But a 24-inch female red snapper is about an 8-year-old fish.
Okay.
Biologists say. Okay. It's an interesting fact. And I think, you know, most people would be happy with a 24-inch snapper. That's a good size one. So. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people. Again, the season's going to stay open until July 31st. Still 2 fish per person. One thing I want to remind everyone, I was reminding people over 4th of July weekend, most people have their fishing license. Make sure you get that Gulf Reef Fish angler permit. That really helps with data collection. If you're going to be targeting reef fish, whether it be grouper or snapper, amberjack, gray triggerfish, we want people, just remind people to get that permit, and it's free.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing we do, and a good tool we use to help with that fishery.
Yeah, a good way to keep up research a lot. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then on the bay side, still seeing consistent catches of trout, redfish, and flounder, especially redfish and flounder recently have picked up quite a bit.
That's good. And how's the activity been? A lot of people out? You seen a lot of fishermen?
Been a lot. Oh yeah. The good thing is when the seas are calm and we have like snapper season, it allows people to get offshore, and even people that want to go over to the island and recreate. Some people go on the Gulf side. It doesn't congregate everybody in the bay. Yeah. Lets people spread out, and usually for us on our side, that's less accidents. Yeah. So that's good. And I mean, we're just, like I say, staying busy. San Andreas State Park has been very busy. Yeah. Was in there over the 4th, and they consistently every day they would, they let a certain amount in. When the parking fills up, then they close it. So they would close the park for a couple hours, and then when people start to come out, then they let more people in.
I've got some feedback. Is the St. Andrews Park pier, is it still closed or is it open?
I believe the pier's open.
It's open, okay.
Yeah, I believe so. And
I didn't know. I've had people ask me, and I haven't been out there lately. So
yeah, it consistently stays. It's usually known as like the second busiest state park in the state.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's really, the area is small compared to some others, but so many people like to go there and enjoy the.
Are there still bass in those ponds, or did the salt water mess them up after the hurricane? There used to be some bass there. People catch and release the same bass.
They did, yeah. I mean, years ago, I believe Gator Lake had them.
Gator Lake, that's what
Gator Lake had some bass, and I think they're still in there.
Okay,
it's mostly fresh water. So, yeah, again, really nice. They did a lot of renovations on the campgrounds in there. I know you've had Chuck Hatcher on talking about that.
Yeah.
And then they're getting ready soon to start doing some roads in there.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
Good deal. Beautiful place. Our
Yep.
state park system is second to none. It is.
Absolutely.
We're going to take a final break, come back with our case of the month. Be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with Travis. We always enjoy having him on. We have so much information on. Before we get to him, let's take a look at our fishing game times brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. We're looking at 7:33 to 9:33 this morning and 7:57 to 9:57 tonight. Okay, so we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. The case of the month, okay, let's do it first.
Yeah, a little different this time. We had some good fish cases made. I know we highlighted those last couple times I was on the show, but one thing we just had that was a big thing, it's actually a nationwide campaign. It's called Operation Dry Water, and it's really a year-long effort, but there's heightened enforcement and awareness July 1st through the 3rd, which we just had the 4th of July holiday weekend, and our officers here just in Bay County, they made 8 BUI and DUI arrests, and I just want to highlight their work. They work really hard at it. Sometimes they're dealing with members of the public that aren't too happy that we're there. But again, our number one goal is keeping people safe.
Yeah,
and
right.
And they worked really hard just in that little holiday weekend to make sure they at least got 8 people off the water and or roads that didn't need to be operating a vehicle or a vessel. And I know we've talked about this plenty of times. I know Nicole's been on the show, but we just want to encourage everyone again, have a sober operator. There's nothing to say you can't go out on the boat and drink, but just make sure you have a sober operator because it is a leading contributing factor in a lot of our fatal boating accidents, alcohol and drug use. So.
And we've said this over and over again, there are hot spots where, you have a crab island over there. I read some of the reports from those people over there. It's incredible.
Yeah.
What old timers used to go and catch crabs, really.
Yeah.
And now they can't go. And then Shell Island area back behind it is just, getting bigger and bigger. So I know y'all have to focus on that, but it's just something that alcohol and boating just don't mix, and alcohol and driving. So
no,
it's a big deal.
It is, and like you said, Crab Island is a big area over there in Okaloosa that has a problem with that.
Yeah.
Shell Island over here, but even on our rivers, even on the Chaltahhatchee, the Apalachicola, Deer Point Lake, you can find a creek. It's the same thing, We just want to make sure that people are aware, and we will be out there enforcing the law and hold people accountable, because that's the thing. When you do that, you're not only affecting yourself but other people, and we want to keep people safe.
Okay. I ran across this. We want to talk more in depth about it. This boat we're talking about. We're always talking about safety and all on the bay. We've got scallop season coming up.
Yep.
And you get more and more people out there, and a lot of people aren't experienced, and they don't know exactly what they're doing. But speed is the biggest thing when you got people in the water going fast on the boat.
Yeah.
And this story here, I've got it from several places. I want to basically, here's the story. I won't read the whole thing. Basically, this happened down the Crystal River near St. Mark's, and anyway, the guy got run over. He's out there scalloping, and the guy kept going in this boat here. So they got and then Megan Miller posted. Let me see. Go to Megan's post. Megan posted right after that. This was all over social media. Megan posted the guy that run over right here. This is a customer of ours that was hit. They're bringing in a surgeon to try to save. The guy's still alive, but he's really mangled up with his legs and feet. And now they're putting up like a $25,000 reward to find this boat or the operator of this boat. So this is something you don't see every day out there.
We don't, and that is a fear of ours. That's why we always talk about it for scallop season, especially. But this is the first I've heard of it. But I'm sure law enforcement's going to do everything they can to locate that person. But we've got scallop season coming up in Port St. Joe area or St. Joe Bay next month. So every time we just want to encourage people, use your dive flag, and if you see a dive flag and you're operating your vessel, make sure you stay that 300 feet away. If you've got to come inside that 300 feet, bring it down to idle, because like you were saying, what's scalloping? Yeah. It's coming up the surface, it's going down, and you go down. If you're not at idle, you can't react to a diver that's actually following the rule on his end or his or her end, staying within that dive flag radius. So hopefully they're able to find that, get everything sorted out, and
that's going to be interesting to follow.
It is, and
one of the reports said that he sort of turned around and saw it and kept going. So you never on social media you can't go by what actually happened with the law. I mean, they investigate and get the facts, and then you hear this stuff on social media. But there was an accident bad.
Right.
So,
and that's what it is. Is first they got to gather all the facts and information, and want to pray for that guy and his legs, his feet, and his family, because that's prop strikes are always bad. So.
All right, and we haven't got any Scotland reports from St. Joe Bay.
Not yet. But,
we're going to be looking, and also now I've noticed from Crystal River and Stenthatchee, there's been some folks up here have gone down some good bags have gotten.
They have, and even St. Mark's area has been pretty consistent from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So it's it's always exciting. It seems like St. Joe Bay is either really really good or it's a down year. So hopefully we're having a good year this year.
Yeah, I wish we still did those surveys that was really interesting to follow that, and because you had a pattern. It was really interesting.
Right.
We even got some good reports from Carabel. It was open on that side.
Oh wow.
And it was really first we don't usually get good reports from them, but they sent some pictures of big old bags that they were getting over there. So
good.
That's always a good sign. It's always a reflection of the health of the bay, I think.
Yep, you're right. They're very sensitive to changes in that water. Some of our marine life aren't, but the scallops are very sensitive to that stuff for sure. And I know you guys are going to go over.
Oh yeah. We absolutely love doing that. So we're looking forward to it. We've got to do some scouting now pretty soon. So for open day, you don't want to be scouting. You want to go right to them. So how that goes, like deer hunting. You want to.
That's right.
We're about to run out of time again, Travis. Any closing remarks? We've got about 30 seconds.
No, we just want to keep everyone safe out there. I know we keep preaching the same thing, but make sure you have a sober operator. Wear your life jackets, and then if you see something, say something to us. Even if you see somebody that's violating a dive flag rule or driving careless or reckless on the water, give us a call, because we want to go out there and stop those people and address those issues. So.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Folks,
sir.
thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Do something good today for your fellow man. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of the outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.